Okay, here's our standard for next week. RI 2.6, identify the author's main purpose of a text, including what the author wants to answer, explain, or describe. In annotating the text, I pulled out identify as find or tell. I pulled out main purpose as the reason for writing, because we're trying to figure out the reason that the author wrote the text. If that text happens to be something like a picture, then why would that picture have been included? What was the purpose behind it? And then for answer, explain, or describe, even though it's not written in there specifically, it is going back to persuading, informing, and entertaining. So each of those are broken down. So they're trying to talk you into doing something, they're trying to persuade you into doing something. The author is giving you information, or the author has written it just for pure enjoyment or for pure pleasure. I'm sure all of you have heard of the acronym PI for author's purpose: persuade, inform, entertain. And then that leads us to the academic vocabulary. So what's written in black is the academic vocabulary and verbs straight from the standard. So author's main purpose, author was in there again separately. I didn't pull author out again because it was already written one time. And then in purple, coming from the NCDPI clarification and glossary, we have persuade, persuasion, inform, information, express, expression, and entertain, entertainment. One of the things that was listed in there that's not typically listed anywhere else is the author could have written whatever was written, could have written the text to express a feeling, express an opinion, express a thought. And it does need to be touched on, even though that's not specifically part of PIE. And then to spin off of describe, we have description and descriptive details. So again, even though those purple words are not specifically noted in the actual standard, they're words that we want to use because they're words that the students will be exposed to. If not this year, you're laying the groundwork for what's to come next year, or in future years. Then we have your verbs: identify, answer, explain, and describe. So the ones in black are the ones specifically from the standard. And then in purple, persuade, inform, express, and entertain. And by laying those out, it gets them in our head, and it just makes us a lot more likely to use them with the students. We want to build as much background knowledge and as much of a base for them now as we can, so that as they progress further, they've got a stronger understanding. In brown, I have word of the day examples. These don't have to be the ones that you use, but these are ones that could come from the standard itself if you're trying to keep content related. So persuade, which you could tie into persuasion, you could do both of those at the same time. Entertain, entertainment. Inform, information. Purpose, so again, just examples. And then the instructional ideas, these also come from the clarification document, the glossary document from DPI. So all of the information on this side is coming from that clarification document. These are not things that I'm just making up or coming up with off the top of my head. Even though they're not listed in the standard, DPI has said that they're important and they need to be included. And if by chance we don't go look at that clarification document, we're missing out on vital pieces of information. So you could do a chart with the students that provides the text, and then they have to identify what the author's purpose is. Again, it doesn't have to be an actual book. It could be a commercial, it could be a picture, it could be a caption, it could be an editorial out of the newspaper, it could be an advertisement. Any of those would consist in text, and there are a multitude of them listed in that clarification document as to different ideas. One of the others that was provided by DPI was given informational text, highlight the evidence to support the purpose. So the students are having to validate why they came up with what they answered. They could also, after they have experienced some kind of text, they could do a writing with that as the author as to why they provided that particular text, that piece of text, that picture, whatever it may be. So then they're answering it not as the student, but they're taking ownership as to why they did what they did. And then they could actually, and this could include drawing as well as writing, they could create an example of a persuasion, an information, and an entertainment. And that by them creating that, they're going to show that they have a concrete understanding of what a persuasion text would look like, what an informational text would look like, what an entertainment text would look like. And they could also do a combination of writing or drawing. If they drew a picture of a tiger and gave 2 sentences providing information about a tiger, then they have shown you that they understand what information is if they're able to do that and identify it as informational.